So when Dobmeier Supply made the announcement for this seminar, this workshop, I believe he said that the focus is going to be on chemical-free finish removal. How many, just to see a show of hands, how many of you in the audience are familiar with chemical-free finish removal? Okay, all right, very good. Okay, so what is it all about? Well, number one, I passed around it's like a large postcard, and if you didn't get one, please holler at me. So what that shows is, it shows a path going down an aisle in a retail store. And what it's doing is it's taking away the soil, and it's taking away the damaged finish, and it's achieving this using this type of a finish removal pad on the machine, and then plain water in the tank. Okay, so what are we missing? When you do traditional finish removal, you typically use chemical. Exactly right. Okay, so in this process, in the chemical-free finish removal, you're basically going to use this Orbital type scrubber. You're going to fill the solution tank with plain water, just like you see here. There's no chemical here. And then we're going to take it's called a finish removal pad right here, and then we're going to place it underneath a pad, a backer pad we call it, that's on the machine. And the reason we do that is because you see the thickness. It's very thin, a pad. So what happens is the backer pad gives you the suspension, because you know how floors are even? I'm being facetious. Floors are typically like this, right? So with that backer pad, it allows this finish removal pad to move across and consistently clean the floor. So again, we're going to take away, number one, the damaged finish, and then we're going to take away the soil. And so the end result is that picture that you see on that card that I handed out. So typically when we show that to people, the first reaction is well, how'd you do that? And we say, with that piece of equipment that's in the picture. And what kind of chemical did you use? And we say, we're plain water. And then they say, no way, I don't believe you, I'd like to see it. And that leads to a demonstration, and then actually when the machine is on their floor and they see the demonstration, they believe. Okay? Because it is kind of unbelievable. I'll never forget, when I first saw this process, it was about, it was around July of 2012, and we had a prototype scrubber. We weren't even in production yet. And so we met a contractor at a retail store in West Michigan, and we walked in and he had 3 people there. He had several 5-gallon pails of chemical stacked up. The mission was to strip the floor, refinish the floor of this small retail store. So when we arrived with this, and he said, I still don't believe what you told me on the phone, I need to see it. So we put the pad onto the backer pad and we went down that aisle, and that's exactly what happened in that picture right there. So he looks at us and he says, now granted, this is like 7 years ago. He says, do you realize what you have here? He said, you see all those pails of chemical there? I don't need those. Just use the plain water. You see these 3 people, I only need 1 person, I just send the other 2 to other job sites. So you really have something here as far as a cost reduction, labor saving process that's simple, it's safe, because if you do it the traditional way with the chemical, what do? You mop it on, right? You have to do it in small quadrants so it doesn't evaporate. And then what do you do with your floor machine? You got to abrade, right? You got to scrub with the black pads typically. And you got to do it thoroughly, and then you got to vacuum it up. And then what's next? Rinsing. Yeah, exactly. Rinse, rinse, rinse. So it's a lot of labor. For example, at Charlotte School District in North Carolina, they have 200,000 square feet of floor. So we went in, we did the presentation, and then we have this cost, it's a spreadsheet, it's a cost reduction calculator on savings with the chemical-free finish removal process. And so all you do is you type in the area, the number of floor techs, the wage, and the cost of the machine, and then it will automatically calculate the savings, and it'll show you the comparison. So one column shows you the cost of using the floor machines at the chemical, and the other column shows you using the scrubber, the auto scrubber with the chemical free. So you're not going to believe this, but in that 200,000 square feet, the labor materials for floor techs to do that 200,000 square foot to take the finish off is 14,000 and change. Okay. Compared to the 20 inch, this one here, it's $1,000 and change. So if you go from 14 to 1,000, so the cost savings one time is 13,000. Significant cost reduction. So that's the whole process. It's extremely simple, and I have to tell you too that the machine that we built here was actually we had your help in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. We had people come in, scrubber operators come in, and they gave us insight on how to build a world-class scrubber. So what do you think the number one priority was in their mind? So they said to us the highest cost of ownership is, what do you think on the scrubber? What's the highest cost of ownership on the scrubber? It's the batteries. Somebody said batteries, right? Okay, so they advised us to develop a battery protection system. So we have a patented battery shield system that enables the operator to no longer have to check the batteries. The technology will shut the machine off when it's time to water. And then all you do is you take the watering hose, put it into a gallon and squeeze. It'll fill the batteries. It takes about 30 seconds. Very simple. So it's hands off, and so it's safe. And it'll guarantee full cycle life out of your batteries. And I like the glasses. That's good. Recovery tanks, they said to us, clamp on the filter, because these have a tendency to fall in, and then the operator's operating without protection. That's why it's clamped on. Demisting chamber to protect the vacuum intake from moisture. Anti-slosh baffle, so that when it's full and you're transported back, there's no slosh. Okay, so it calms the water down. And then inside the deck, they told us highest cost of ownership of the isolators inside the deck. So they said you got to use chunky, robust isolators inside there. So we use these. We have machines in the field since January 13 with the original isolators. It's over 5,000 hours on the meter. So they really do work, and it reduces the cost. Because the cost to rebuild the smaller isolators that are in the other brand machines, anywhere from $300 to $500 just for one scrubber. So you can see the two highest cost of ownerships on scrubber with batteries and isolators and orbitals. So we've addressed that. The other thing they like too, or they recommended to us, is they said to us, I don't see it because it's lost, the paper manual is lost. So they said, put the paper manual right on the machine. So that's what the QR code is. Right there, the QR code is on the machine, so all you gotta do is scan it with your reader that's on your phone. So let's do that. Let's just do it real quick. Okay, so what I scanned is the video. It's got training video on it. So that it comes up on your screen. So then all you do is tap it, and then the video starts. So what it is a training video on how to operate the piece of equipment. So let's say you have a new person that starts up and there's not enough time to train that new person. They can scan the training video and they can watch it. It's 4 minutes. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time. But at least they'll get the knowledge on how to operate the machine. What do you think the number one word was from the operators on design? They wanted simplicity. Simplicity in Autoscrubbers. So they said, put the operating instructions in pictures right on the back panel. So that's what this is right here. 3 pictures of how to operate the machine. You can't get much simpler than that. So number 1, you lower the deck with the foot pedal. Number 2, you lower the squeegee with the lever. Number 3, you scrub. That's all there is to it. Say that again? Yeah, when you press here, that's what drives the machine forward. And then when you come back, there's a button right here for reverse. And there's safety built in. So let's say there's a wall behind me and I'm backing up, and the machine hits me. Once it hits here, it goes forward, so it's not going to pin me up against the wall, so it's safe. Also, on squeegee design, they told us on a 20-inch machine, you want to have a 30-inch wide frame, so that when you make a turn, it picks up all the weight. Now feel this. Feel what it's made of. Say it again. They're very heavy. Yeah, it's all solid steel on purpose so that when it's on the floor, you get the pounds per square inch of down pressure so it gets a dry floor. And then if it gets accidentally hit going through a door frame, it gets hit like that. It'll actually, if it gets hit hard enough, it'll break away from the squeegee arm, so it protects this as well as the machine. But feel the weight. And then for simplicity, once this wears, you can just unclamp it, take the band off, and flip the plate because you have a good side up top. Okay, so you can actually use all four sides. So theoretically, the squeegee blade could last you easy a year just by rotating. It's similar to rotating the tires on the vehicle. How many of you religiously rotate your tires? Okay. Cleaning, okay, that's a good point. So they asked us to design it so that to clean it, you got a big opening here. So you put this over a floor drain, that's the drain hose for the dirty water. Then you get your clean water hose and flush. That's it, simple. And then the pads that are on the scrub deck on the front, all you do is you can take a pad off at the end of the day, wash it out, and you're done. That's all there is to it. Very, very simple. So again, simplicity was the key word in the design of this auto scrubber. And one other thing they told us on cost of ownership, they said eliminate the computer board that's inside the machine. We don't want computer boards. So we said, okay, so there's no computer boards inside. So that means this is a durable, reliable piece of equipment. So that there is no electronics on board. It's all mechanical. So when you want to scrub, it's going to work. Mechanical up and down for the deck, mechanical up and down for the squeegee. It's extremely simple, extremely reliable. The other thing I wanted to mention is that with the battery shield technology, we actually have a large contractor that's throughout North America. They have over 200 of these with battery shield that are in operation right now, mostly in healthcare facilities. And they also have a third-party tech service company out of Chicago that services their equipment, and they have this technology where they can monitor the machine. And so they can tell, when the batteries have been replaced, when it's had this type of service, that type of service, and so forth. So in January of this year, they informed us, the tech company out of Chicago, they said, hey, you might be interested to know that the 200 plus machines that are in service with this contractor, with battery shield protection, over the past 4 years, from 2014 to 2018, we've already replaced 2 sets of batteries. So that's a good testimonial for the battery shield protection, so it really does work. So let's say I'm new to the machine, so I come in, I turn it on, I start to scrub, and all of a sudden, the scrub deck stops on the red light here that says battery shield comes on, water batteries went lit. Okay, so now I can't scrub because battery shield disabled my motor on the scrub deck, so I have to water. So that's why it really works. You cannot ignore it. You cannot scrub unless you water your battery. So once you do that with the watering hose, then you're all set to start scrubbing. Okay? So it really does work, and it saves thousands and thousands of dollars. On average, for a customer with battery shield on one machine, on that one machine, it will save you over the course of the machine's life up to 4 sets of batteries. So, do the math. It's a set of batteries in here is maybe $800 times 4. So that's what it delivers. That's what battery shield delivers. What we did to lower your cost of ownership, again, is on the isolators that we use inside the deck. We just increased the warranty in January of this year to 5 years for these. So you have 5-year isolator warranty, 5,000 hours. 5 years, 5,000 hours. So that's real good protection on it. The company, Pacific, a few years ago invested in the tooling, so we're making all of our tanks in-house. We're also fabricating the frames in-house, and so we're assembling in-house. So that's why we put this on the back end. It says American Innovation, the tag. And so that means, let's say you need blades, you need squeegee blades in a hurry, we can next day them to your building or to Dobmeier so that you have your squeegee blades so that you're not down. So there's a distinct advantage to having the manufacturing done in-house. So it's all there. We're not waiting on container ships coming in for something. So Orbital technology, just to give you an idea of the popularity, because we make disc scrubbers as well, but the Orbitals are outpacing the disc. So the demand for Orbital scrubbers like this one and this one here, 75% Orbital, 25% disc. Just gives you an idea. And the reason it's so popular is because you can do both. You can do daily scrub, and then you can do the finish removal. Yeah. Whereas with the disc, it's a good scrub machine, but it doesn't have the motion to do that chemical-free finish removal. We're going to have next year a mini scrubber, for small areas, for kitchen areas, and places like that. Yeah, we're also working on a larger machine too, for some larger areas, the type that you would ride on, and we'll be able to make it in different variations. So orbital with the rectangular deck, the disc. We'll also be able to be configured in a high-speed burnisher, and possibly a wide area vacuum.